Welcome back to the shop. Today we are building a digital interface for interfacing a radio with a computer, like a Raspberry Pi or even a desktop Windows computer. Gonna try and do this as inexpensive as possible, and quite strictly you can get away with using only one of these. This is a USB sound card. Let's see if we can get some focus on that. Yeah. You can get this from the usual Chinese shopping places for as little as $2 US. But we'll put a few more components on it. It's not going to be expensive ones. So I'm guessing this, if you find a case already, this is probably something you can easily build for about $3. What we're going to need is the USB sound card. We'll be requiring 2 potentiometers. These are 10K. This is my selection on how I want to interface it with the radio. This is a DB9 connector, I think it's called. It's also got some other names. I'll try and do some screen overlays. You don't have to do this. You can connect the radio cable directly to it, or you can use whatever connection is convenient for you, or you think it's working. I also don't want to just stick this directly into the computer, so I will be putting on the enclosure, and let's see if we can zoom in on this, or at least focus on it. This is a USB-C connector. I'll be using that to connect to the USB sound card, so that the thing that we're building will have a USB-C interface. I prefer that. We'll need a 2N2222 transistor. It's an NPN transistor. There's a lot of close-up shots, but yeah, let's see if we can. I don't know if that's focusing, but let's hope. We will require 2 10 microfarad electrolytic capacitors, and we will require 1 10K resistor and 1 1K resistor. And in addition, some sort of casing is nice. As I said, you don't need any of this. You can just use this and solder the cable directly to your radio. This is with the potentiometers and the alternative USB-C connector and all that. It's going to make it a lot nicer to work with. But in a pinch, absolutely, you can do digital radio with only this $2 US sound card. I have been told that my videos tend to run a little bit long, especially build videos, so I took the time off camera to assemble some of the boring parts. This is just the case. I've attached the USB-C connector to it, and also the DB9 connector, as well as the 2 potentiometers to the top of this enclosure. So basically, this is what I've done already. Unless you have the exact same enclosure, then it's not going to be the same for your build anyway, so I don't think that's really interesting to watch. But yeah, you can freeze frame if you want to get some details of how I did this, but this is where we're starting off. I have some drawings of the different components or the different parts of the design. I'll leave some links to these in the description, and also I'll do some screen overlays so that you can see what I'm talking about. I think the first thing we should do is to try and assemble the PTT buffer. This is basically, it's the 2 resistors and the 2N2222 transistor. And let's see. I have the drawing here of how this is meant to fit together, and yeah, so you can see we've cut 2 other legs. Let's start with the center. The base resistor. It's probably easier since that's going to be in the middle, instead of just having to go attach this afterwards. So this, let's hope that's easier. Tin that leg, and I think the transistor leg is already sufficiently thin, but let's just, here we go. Let's see if we can get these 2 to. And I think we can. I think that's good enough. Next one is the collector. You're still seeing this? Yes. Try and put the pliers on it so it doesn't move around as much when I try to solder it. That was annoyingly difficult. And the 10K resistor. Let's see if we can manage that. This was a little more fiddly than I was hoping for, but let's see if we can get it to work. That looks pretty bad, but I think it's gonna work. Yeah, I'm gonna see if we can focus on this. It's not pretty, but I do think it's functional. To isolate this, we could use some simple heat shrink. Let's just thread that over like so. The center pin on the transistor, which is the base, I think we will try and that's for the PTT input from the sound card. So we'll try and use yellow for PTT. Let's see if we can get that on there. And it seems we can. Excellent. And we'll heat that too. Let's see, the last one is going to be the radio PTT. So we need a wire for that. I don't think that's gonna need to be a particularly long wire. Maybe even might even be long enough, but let's just solder on a short piece of yellow wire on the emitter. Oh, come on. Yeah, I think that worked. And we'll trim off some of the sticky outy bits. A little bit more. And yellow heat shrink on that as well, I think. Maybe even this is long enough, let's see. Yes, it is. So, there is one more thing to do, and that is to connect these ends of the resistors. Now we'll see if I can just do that really simply, like so. That should be enough, and let's solder that as well. Should be it. Let me show you. So, if we can get the focus in here. We now have the yellow wire, which is the PTT output. This is the PTT input. And the black wire is the ground wire. So, that should be it for the PTT buffer. I think next up would be to remove these two connectors. These are tip ring sleeve 3.5 millimeters connectors. Strictly, you don't have to do that. You could just solder the wires onto here if you don't want to overcomplicate things when you do your build. But I think it's going to look a little bit neater, and it's going to be a little bit easier to see that everything is connected the way it should. So I will try and remove them and see if that works. My plan here is to melt the solder on all three connectors at the same time. And then just when they're all melted, just yank it off. Yeah, that didn't work. Alternative idea. Let's go for the destructive approach. We'll just snap these off, and it's gonna be, can you see this? There we go. Just cutting the metal. That way we can just bend them out of the way. And maybe we'll bring you in a little bit closer. Probably going to be a bit more fun. Doing that, we can just pry this off, and we can desolder one at a time later on. It's going to be a lot easier. Doing the same thing with the microphone connector. I think Let's see if did I get it? No, I did not. Now I got it. Ah, yeah, that's, don't do that. Let me show you what just happened. If you can get some, that tore off that pad. That's not really important. We're just going to use the tip and the ring connector. So, but if I'd torn off one of the others, that would be bad. So try not to rip them apart when you do this, because the thing now is at this stage it should be simple enough just to heat them up and remove the pins. Let's see if we can get some focus. That yep, that could have actually ruined the entire project, because as I said, make sure not to rip the pads. I ripped this one, but I still have this one left and this one. This will be for the microphone, so the sound coming in from the radio. And this one, you see this? Yeah, and this one is the headphone output, so sound going into the radio. But as you see, there, if I'd have been a little bit more unlucky, I could have ripped one of the pads that I actually needed. Next up, we'll be fastening this to the inside of the case, just this side approximately where you want it. I think for me that should be about there, and for this one I will use just simple double-sided tape. You can use two-component adhesive if you want to do this properly, or you could even create a 3D printed case if you want to. But yeah, I'll go for the easy approach and just tape it down with double-sided tape. Let's see. We'll remove what's left here, and it's always the fun part, trying to get the backing off. Here we go. I guarantee you that took at least a minute, but we fixed that in editing. So I think about here be a good spot. And yeah, that stuck down there really good. So I think now the thing to have a look at is the next schematic. Once again, I'll put these up on screen for you to look at, and also download links below the video so you can download them if you want to build your own. Next thing is to connect, let's see, the potentiometers are to be connected to ground and to the capacitors. And the capacitors must be connected to the potentiometers. So I think maybe connecting the potentiometers first. That means we get to decide which is for the microphone and which is for the headphones. And we'll do this. The closest to me here is the microphone, and the furthest away is for the headphones. So let's see. I want this configured so that when I have the computer plugged in as this end, these turn like this, and that means it's in the right way, and that means that this is the microphone, so this will be the microphone and this will be the headset. Let's see if we can remember that, and with that we can start attaching the capacitors. And looking at the schematic, we see that for the microphone, we are supposed to connect the positive side of the capacitor to the center tap of the potentiometer. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, once again, for the microphone, that was, yeah, that's you. We see on the drawing that the capacitor, actually I think I misspoke. The capacitor's negative side is to be attached to the center tap of the microphone potentiometer. And it should be easy enough to identify. It's got a big minus on it, so let's cut off. There we go. That wasn't too difficult, actually. Then there is the headset potentiometer, which also needs one of these, and it's once again it's the negative side that's to be connected. Let's see, next up, these should just get some wires to go to the sound card. That was one of the wires. So this is going to, let's see, this is for the microphone. So this is now going to the AF out connector. The other side of the microphone potentiometer is going to ground. So we get a ground wire. We have it. And there is a ground wire for the so for the center tap on the headphone potentiometer, we will attach a white wire. That will be the let's see, the audio going out of the computer and into the radio. Let's see, the capacitor will be going to the sound card. That will also require a white wire. And I think we need the same for the microphone capacitor. That will also require a wire to connect to the sound card. I'll do an overlay with a close-up of this, so you can reference it if you want to, and I'll also put the picture someplace linked in the description, so you can have a look. Just one fiddly little bit left. That is the input for the PTT. I'll be using a red wire for that, and I'll show you why that's going to be interesting. Basically, let's just zoom in for this and see if we can. We need to connect a wire to that pin, the corner pin at that corner. That's going to be the output for the PTT, going into the PTT buffer circuit that we started making. And that wire should touch only that pin, none of its neighbors and none of the other components on here. So that's going to be fun. Let's see how that works out. You know what, I'm going to have to do this under a magnifier, so I'll try and do it. I'll show you how it turns out. Let's see if we can zoom in on that into this, or at least see if we can focus on it. I don't know if that works. I'll take a picture and do a screen overlay. That was actually a lot easier than I feared. Let's try and measure for shorts. There are in fact no shorts between these two neighboring pins. I'm pretty happy with that. Next, let's do something simple. Let's just connect the USB connector to the USB-C connector on the outside. We'll save all the interesting parts for later on. This is really boring, so I'm probably just going to speed it up. That's not pretty, but I think it's functional. And even though the black wire, D-, seem to be well, not particularly well connected, it in fact is. At least it looks like it under a microscope. So Yep, I think we'll call that good enough. That was actually more fiddly than I was expecting. We are now at the point where we'll need to connect the Kantronics connector on the back. That's a DB9, and I have here the wiring diagram for those. This bottom one shows you how to connect the wires on the inside of the connector. So I'm starting with a ground wire, or at least I'm going to try to start with a ground wire. That's kind of an upside down soldering job. So let's see if we can manage that. Did that work? That was a lot easier than expected. Nice. And let's see, now it's time to collect all of this, and once again these should point in that direction. Let's try and gather up all the ground wires first. And we're lucky here because we have on top here, all these 4 points are ground connections. So I can just solder the ground wire to the, each ground wire gets its own connection point. That's going to make it a lot simpler. And next up, let's see, next up is the input for the, let's do the microphone first. This is this one, and that's microphone gain. This is the microphone gain control, and so the input for the microphone, we can see on the schematic that that's the center tap. And we'll connect it to the tip of the microphone connector on the sound card. And lastly, for the sound card connections, I think we need, let's see, that is one of the sides through the capacitor. And we'll put that on the tip connector for the headphone output. There we go. Next is the output, or the radio side of this, and we'll start with the microphone, which will go to the AF out from the radio. Let's see what that is. Alright, I can see now I soldered the ground wire on the connector to the incorrect connector. I wish I noticed that before, because changing this now is just going to be that much harder. And try and attach it to the connector without too much fuss. Seems to have worked. Let's see, and pin number 1 is for the headphone tip. That should be this one. There we go. Now, the only thing remaining, let's see if we can, yeah, I think we're gonna have to do some massaging of these wires when we put this all together, but shouldn't be too hard. Last thing now should be the buffer circuit for the PTT, and let's see, what was the deal here? The yellow stiff wire was supposed to be the output, and we have a black wire that is a ground wire. We'll start by attaching that, I think. That was the ground wire for the PTT buffer, and the output of the PTT buffer is the yellow connector. That should be it. And lastly, we are finally there. We shall do the input to the PTT buffer, which is this flying wire coming from the directly connected GPIO 3, which is on pin 13 on the chip. If we connect that to the input of the PTT buffer, we should be done. Let's see, I'll put a put some heat shrink on there before I finish, and we'll try and come on, be nice. Try and cover that up as best as we can. Once it's soldered on, let's see if we can get this to work. And I think we can. We have it. Heat shrink back up and over there. And I have a lighter here to warm it up a little bit. Should be all right. Now, if this works, this will be the last time we see the inside of this. I'll show you some overlays of what this looks like, and believe me, it's not pretty. Last step is to try and make a nice fold of these wires. I think just turning this around once probably will do it. And we should be able to squeeze this thing together. I think we are. And let's find some screws. This should be it. Next job now is actually testing it to see if it works. I'll give that about a 50%, I think. I think it looks rather tidy. And yep. Next video will be creating a cable from these this male DB9 that fits in here to a K-type, I think, K-type connector. This is it's called for Kenwood, to connect this to a well, basically a Kenwood, any radio with a Kenwood type connector, and that's mostly the Baofeng and the Baofeng type radios from China. But that's going to be the next thing. We'll reuse this really cheap headset. The cable should have all the wires needed. So we'll need this. We need the DB9 male connector, and we also need some choking. So I have here a nice choke that I can never remember the name of because it's a really long number. I'll put that in the description of the next video. So if you want to see me testing it, or see how I create the cable to connect this to a K-type connector or a Baofeng radio, please subscribe. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you saw something stupid, please leave me a comment. I'm not a professional. This is much more a see how I did it video than to try to teach you how to do it. Maybe it's an inspiration for someone anyway. So if you saw something stupid, please leave a comment. Teach me how to do it better. I'm learning a lot from the comments beneath my videos, so I really appreciate that. And also everyone else watching would appreciate your insight if you have some ideas of how to do this better. Other than that, I think I'll just say till next time, 7-3.